So the Animal Crossing Direct came out around 3 hours ago, and my video editor You Etats finished up editing that video and uploading it. And I kind of just wanted to do a video of me discussing my thoughts and impressions of the Direct, because it was a very good Direct for just being Animal Crossing. I feel like it was very well paced. It had a lot of information and a lot of shock value as well. And overall, it was a really solid Direct, so I thought I should go ahead and just talk about it. So I'm Crafty Type 1, and let's just get straight into this video. So if you guys want to, I'm just going to be talking with the Direct in the background, so you guys could go and alt-tab me, or if you have YouTube Premium, just close your phone and listen. Do something else, or you could just watch, because I'll just have the Direct in the background. But the Direct starts off with a free update, or with the announcement of when the free update is going to be coming out, and that is November 5th, 2021. I'm a little surprised. It's fairly early in November's month span. I thought it'd be either the second or the third week, but November 5th is great. We don't have to wait too long. It's around 3 to 4 weeks from the time of recording this, that being the day of the Direct. So we don't have to wait long. One interesting thing, they announced this is the last major free update coming to Animal Crossing. So I assume the next updates are going to be bug fixes and paid DLC. We'll get more into that because they did announce one paid DLC, which I think is awesome. It's a good thing. But this is the last major free update. Kind of sad, but it makes a lot of sense. And this is also labeled version 2.0. I didn't know if they said this in the initial Direct where they announced this, but this is version 2.0. This is basically the Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo update for New Horizons. And it's definitely fitting for a 2.0 update. And let's just get into what they added. So one thing that everyone knew about was the roost. And because they said it themselves that they're adding the roost, but they barely showed it. I think they showed around 2 minutes worth of content for the roost and everything else. I mean, it was a 20-minute Direct, and I don't think that they were going to just show the roost for 20 minutes. But I feel like it was very underrepresented, but I don't know what else they could have added to the roost. I was hoping it would have been a lot newer and there was a new, fresher take on it, but it's just the roost, and it's not that bad. It's not a bad thing at all. It's just, go ahead and get a cup of coffee and then talk to Animal Crossing characters. You could call them in with amiibos. It's just fairly basic stuff. I thought you were going to be able to get the roost outside the museum and have its own shop, but unfortunately it doesn't look like that. It just looks like a nice place to chill and relax, to be honest, and I think that's awesome. I just want to put that out there. If you want a nice place to chill, relax, and talk with other people that love Animal Crossing, go ahead and check out my Discord, the Crafted Cafe, which is 10 times better than the Roost or Brewsters Cafe. Yeah, that'll be in the description below, and you can just talk about Animal Crossing and everything else Nintendo. But overall, the Roost was fairly lacking in new content, but I feel like it didn't need new content. It's just the Roost. You could chill, you can hang out, you can have fun. And yeah, the next we got the return of Cap'n and his boat tours. What's interesting is Cap'n brings in a new form of island hunting, because initially the Dodo Airlines, you pay, I think it's 1,000 tickets, 1,000 Nick miles, to go to a random island, and there's a chance that there's going to be a villager there, and you can collect extra materials and stuff like that. Cap'n seems like it does the same thing. But it doesn't look like you can find the villagers there, and you could get new seasons, new times of day than the time that you're already in, plus new plants and I assume trees, new plants and items. That's what they said. And overall, I think these islands look great. With this 2.0 update, they designed multiple new season locations, it looks like. The main one they showed off was like Limwood Tangle kind of vibe, where there was like a bunch of stones and there was these ladder vines that you're able to climb up everywhere, and it was like overgrown island. But we also got to see like a winter themed one, a desert themed one, a Sahara themed one, stuff like that. And I think it's awesome. More theming, more terraforming opportunities. And if you're able to get different types of stones from these islands to use inside the new fences they announced and everything else, I think that'd be super cool. One of the best things I think that's returning with Cap'n is him singing, him quote unquote serenading you on his boat trip. And I believe in the 3DS you were able to skip him, but you can choose not to. You might be able to prove me wrong, because from what I remember is the song only took as long as a loading time, so you weren't able to hear the whole thing. I'm hoping that you're able to hear the whole thing, because I just got a flash of nostalgia when I started hearing him singing, and I can't wait to hear him sing in just crisp audio and not on the 3DS speakers. Next, we got an update to Harv's Island. This was definitely needed. I feel like after the photo studio kind of wore off its thing, Harv's Island kind of felt like it was useless. But now it's expanding to include new NPCs with their own services and on a special plaza. Harriet, Katrina, Kick, Sahara, and Red will be making an appearance on the island, selling their goods and such. So this definitely seems like a progression type based thing, a late game. So instead of having these people come to your island and selling you stuff like certain times a week, you could just go there and buy the stuff whenever you want. You could also see Reese and Cyrus from retail that will do custom works for you. Like the example they showed was a lighthouse. And traditionally, if you wanted to customize the lighthouse item, you could only do the roof color with the paint bucket tools or whatever. But if you give it to retail, the people at retail, they're able to completely change the design. And I believe they showed like you can make it a wood version or you can make it a steel version. So if you want a more deeper customizable item, I guess you take it to them and they could do it for you, which makes sense lore-wise. And I think it just makes sense just mechanically. It's an awesome addition. Yeah, on the island, they can help expand by making contributions to the Lloyd. So you have to give them bells, I believe. And then I don't know how much it is in total, but it's probably going to be more than 1 million to get every single one of these people. We also see Tortimer on this island. I didn't get to read the dialogue, so I don't really know what he does. He's I was shocked to see him because I guess he was supposed to be on vacation. But I wonder if he's going to unlock multiple minigames. Because one thing I was a little disappointed that Cap'n didn't bring you to Tortimer's island. He just brought you to random island. So I hope Tortimer will bring more multiplayer functionality to the game. But we will see. This is Harv's Island, definitely a great addition to this update. Good progression system because instead of waiting, you could just buy them all outright and then they'll come out and then you just go to them. And it's great. Next was Aerobics was announced. This is all the way back from the first Animal Crossing, and I kind of expected this. I said this in the podcast. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and check out just my podcast Game and see. The Animal Crossing one will be right on the top left or right of the screen. If you go ahead and check that out right after this video. But yeah, this is great. I assume this is only going to be in certain time frames, and it's awesome. This is such a Japanese thing too, but I could definitely see a lot of older generation people doing this, and just, you know, if you want, I could definitely see a lot of older generation people doing this, and honestly, I could see myself doing this if I woke up at I do wake up at 6 a.m. every morning, and I had the time. I would turn on Animal Crossing, you know, do my little chores, and then go to this area and start aerobics. And they said it's motion controlled, so I wonder if you don't move, because your Joy-Cons, if your character doesn't move as well. But it looked super cool, super great. Something just to get you active. It's a video game. You don't have to be inherently active, but it's a good just wake up exercise. And I think it's great. It's a good addition to the aerobics that they had in the original Animal Crossing. And let's just add motion controls to it. And it's great. Another thing that I completely forgot about in New Leaf that they're adding in this 2.0 update are ordinances. I forgot what they were called in New Leaf, but the ordinances are basically telling the villagers like and shops what time they open and close. I completely forgot about this in New Leaf, but that was a great addition. You're able to make different stuff happen. So you can have a beautiful island, which makes weeds appear less frequently. Early bird, which makes shops open and close earlier and makes villagers wake up earlier. Night owl, the opposite effect. And bell boom makes items worth more bells, though they'll also be more expensive. Very cool. Like, I'm still shocked that this wasn't in the base game. And the more I see all this stuff, I'm like, wait, that wasn't in the base game? But this is a 2.0 update, the final free update too. So they're definitely adding a lot, or they're bringing back a lot of stuff. And I feel like this is a really good thing they brought back, because normally I like to play at night and half the stuff is closed. So if I get back into Animal Crossing, I definitely turn on Night Owl, and I feel like it's just a good mechanic, and I'm glad they brought it back. They're upgrading home services. You could change your outline of your house, just more customization. And we'll see later into this video that they went full into house customization, and this is just a part of it. They only showed 4 designs, but I'm pretty sure there's gonna be more, or there is more. And you're able to change the roof design and the wall design and everything. They added more storage, bridges, and inclines. So I believe they increased the storage by 5,000. I think that was, yeah. You're able to upgrade it 2 more times, so you have a total of 5,000. And I forgot what the original cap was. I think it was 3,200. So it was quite a bit more. They also added new items like a storage shed, which I think is like, it's so perfect, because you can access your storage, but not in your house, because it's like locked behind a loading screen. And half the time I just dump my stuff outside of my house, and then whenever I need to go in, then I pick it up and then go in, and then I drop myself in storage. So they're just making that process just a little bit streamlined a little more, which I think is great. A little quality of life improvements. That was another thing I was a little surprised about this direct, was the amount of quality of life improvements and some of the quality of life improvements they didn't add. So what the shed I did mention is a Nook Mile reward. They also added more mile rewards, being the pro decorating license, the custom fencing in a Flash, new reaction notebook, and a pro construction license. Each of this adds just different stuff, more creative. Who would have thought? Yeah, they added a bunch of fences too that look sick. Overall, the whole creativity there. It's just, this game's oozing with creativity, and I love it. Speaking of creativity, you can now cook and grow crops. And they completely like, oh yeah, you could cook now. They just glossed over it. They didn't even like say much about it. That shows you how jam-packed this direct was. Because you can now grow potatoes, carrots, tomatoes, everything, and you could make food with them. And the food they showed were so cool. Like, later in the direct, they showed sushi, but on the table they showed apple cider. They showed a sandwich, a pie, a cake, and I'm like, it looks so good. And you eat it, and the only thing you get from cooking is the super chop, or whatever you want to call it, where you actually chop down a tree or you dig up a tree. Which, yeah, cooking is kind of a novelty. You could just eat 2 apples and you have the same amount, but it looks so good. And I love farming. I love farming in life sim games, and I feel like cooking and farming is just a good logical step for Animal Crossing. With the licenses I've mentioned before, you're able to do a lot more with just decorating your houses, and there's a reason why they added this. Well, we'll get to that. We're almost there. But with the new licenses, you're able to do new lighting stuff, and you can hang lights on the ceiling, which is, again, why wasn't this in the base game? But it makes sense. And you also have accent walls and stuff like that. And then the fencing, the pro construction license allows you to construct up to 10 bridges and inclines from the previous 8. And then you're also to customize fencing, and they added around 10 new fences. I'm not gonna go I'm not gonna tell them right now. It'll be on screen. One thing, like a super big shock, Animal Crossing is now in FPS, and I'm like, this looks awesome. This is something I didn't know I needed. There's a pro camera app you get with Nook Mile tickets, and with that, you could do like, so in the logical sense, it's your character is holding up a camera, and then you're looking through the camera, but it looks so good, and I didn't know I needed it. Like, it looks, I can't wait to walk around my island in first person. It looks so well, and then you're able to like set up your camera and then take that as a first person. It's something I didn't know I needed, because, you know, Animal Crossing's style was that whole rolling log effect. I forgot what it's exactly called, where, you know, the trees kind of pop up like it's on a rolling log. But seeing it on eye level and first person, the game just looks so cool and so good. It brings like new life to the game. They also added more custom designs and more stuff you could do with them. You can now use some designs you weren't able to as wallpaper and as clothing. And I think, yeah. You're also able to express yourself with hairstyles and reactions. They added a bunch of new reactions. I think it was around 8 actually. And around 10 new hairstyles. A lot of Asian themed hairstyles. And I think the Asian representation is great. It is a Japanese developed game, so I'm surprised there wasn't a lot to begin with. But the new hairstyles look awesome. A lot of people are equating it to Squid Game, but you know, that's just the Asian hairstyles. Some of the reactions they added was waving goodbye, stretching, jamming, which is by far my favorite. It's just your character just bobbing his head. Listening ears, which is your character like, huh? And then say cheese, which, why wasn't this a thing before? Because I remember using the photo camera app and trying to time the reactions with the camera shutter. And it was just, this just makes it 10 times easier to say cheese. And it's great. The Island Life 101, some tips. I'm pretty sure not a lot of people are going to use this. Maybe older generation people or people that are just starting off the game. It's just a bunch of tips from Tom Nook and Isabel. It's a whole new app too. So I think they just wanted to fill up the app space. We already talked about new items with Nook Miles, but there's some like new big items like Ferris wheels and such like that. Just more stuff with creativity. They got the bigger storage, more KK songs. So KK, I believe, had 10 new songs. Some of them being KK Polkia, KK Hip Hop, Chill Wave, and a bunch more. I love the album covers they have here. One of them being literal Korean boy band album cover, and I just love it. I could definitely see the new emotes jamming and listening being used for this, and I can't wait to see KK and Brewster interact with each other again, because from what it came when City Folk and New Leaf, they were good pals. Like they went way back. Another big thing they added was gyroids, and the way they did this is you kind of grow gyroids. You could find broken gyroids, and what you need to do is put them in the ground and water them, and they make full gyroids, or you could find gyroids after it rains. And I feel like instead of an item you place on the ground, it's an item you place on a shelf. And I think that's just 10 times better. They're a lot smaller, and they're a lot more stylistic, and I think the smaller it is, the better, because the bigger gyroids just kind of, it's kind of weird, because the gyroids are actual people that you talk to as well. So I think having a difference between a toy gyroid and a human gyroid or a humanoid gyroid is a good difference. And I think that's why they took them out initially, was because of the whole thing. But you could dig up gyroid fragments, plant them, and water them to make new little musical friends. And I think they made it where each gyroid has its own kind of beat to it. Like one was a guitar in the trailer. One was just like a little chime. And I think you could combine it with music to have like make beats on top of the music, which I think is great. They added another tool / item, and that is permanent ladders. For areas that you can't put stairs, you could put permanent ladders. And this is something that just makes sense. Again, quality of life improvements for areas I didn't know that needed quality of life improvements. You also are able to squeeze in tight spaces a lot easier and a lot better compared to the past. That's about it. I feel like this should have been in base game. More villager interactions. I know a lot of people are saying they want the villagers to be a lot more rude to you. And from what they've shown, it's just more happy interactions. But we'll see. Villagers can now invite you to come over to their house after you become good friends. And then they could bust into your house. Or, just go into your house. So you could just be working hard and then go into your house. And this villager's just like, oh, hi, I've just been sitting here for forever. A little weird, but who's going to care? It's a villager. What is he going to do? Rob you? But I think that's great. Then we get some new villagers. I think in the direct, we just see 2 new ones, but I think they announced a total of 11. But we get to see a new anime bunny and then a new yellow dog. I don't know. I forgot their names. Not going to lie. Always going to love new villagers. But that is about it for the free content. For it being the last update, I think they did a good job. I still wish that there was an update to the online itself and just the amount of menus, but I don't think this would be that would be something they announce in a direct, to be honest, because that's putting a bad light on them. Hopefully that's maybe a hidden thing with the direct or with the update when it comes out. We'll have to see when it comes out, but when this update comes out, I hope that they're going to have some quality of life improvements with the online portion of the game, the lobby system, the just everything in general. But that was the end of the free DLC. And then we got the shocker of paid DLC. A lot of people didn't know if there was going to be one. I was on the side of there was going to be one, but it was going to be next year. But this comes out the same day the free update comes out. So there's a lot of content coming out the 5th. So this is going to be priced at $25.99. I'll talk more about the price a little bit later. I think it's a little bit on the steeper side. But it's called Happy Home Paradise. Basically, it's Happy Home Designer for New Horizons. And it's awesome. You work with new characters called Lottie as a member of Paradise Planning Team. I think there was Nico and there's also a Walrus. The characters look awesome. But you're basically part of the the Paradise Planning Committee or Planning Team. And people come to you, villagers come to you asking for a vacation home, and you make them a vacation home on this archipelago. And this archipelago has a bunch of different seasons. And this is where those new styles come in. Because they made these bunch of new styles. They made the desert style. They made the Sahara style. They made the plain style. They made this mossy stone style. And that's where these come in. So this archipelago, I believe, had around 50 slots. It was a lot. And you're able to place these villagers where you think they'll fit best. Of course, a llama would be good in a Sahara, and then I'm trying to think of a good, a lizard. Is there a lizard in the game? A lizard would be good in the plains. And I'm glad that they kind of brought a little bit of the paid content into the new content, because you get to see these types of islands inside Captain's Tours, island tours. But this is a good step for logical paid DLC. I still think we're going to get Tortimer paid DLC as a minigame island, but this is a good first paid DLC, and I definitely think there is more to come. But the way they introduce this is let's go to work, but you don't even get paid. I'm going to kind of jump around because I'm thinking about this, right? You don't get paid in bells, which I think it would have been really cool because you could work there, get paid in bells, go back, and then upgrade your own town, and then go back, work there, get paid in bells, enjoy your time. You get paid in pokies, I think, and they're just a different form of currency, and you can get exclusive furniture, some stuff, and then hard to find furniture, and everything like that. I'm a little surprised that they didn't use bells. That was about it. But your job is to design dream vacation homes for 1 to 2 villagers. Villagers can be roommates, and they could give you some stuff that they want inside their house, and then you make it, and then they judge it, and they, oh, I love it. It's just basically like Sims house builder. If you liked Happy Home Designer, which I did, I loved it, you'll like this. And I mean, it looks awesome. That the amount of creativity and the amount of customization you could do is crazy. I'm just gonna go through it right now. You could like make wall and partitions and like counter spaces, and then you could do like subsections, and you could change the size of the room. You could make the room an L if you wanted to, and it's like, whoa, that's a lot. And then you could add certain soundscapes to rooms if you wanted to fit a certain theme. It's crazy. And the good thing is, like, you just unlock everything from the get-go. You have a certain catalog of stuff that's kind of themed around each other, so you don't have to like look through this massive catalog. They give you a catalog, and then you're able to pick and choose what you put in that room. I just love the walls and partitions and the pillars and stuff. I didn't think they were going to add that. But with this, you get a new permit. I forgot what it's called already. And you're able to do walls, partitions, and everything else in your base house. But I assume you're only able to do that if you have the DLC. Another cool thing, you're not just designing houses. There's going to be like an area in the island that you have, like, I think they showed hospitals, kitchens, schools, and other stuff like that, and you just design them. And I'm like, this is awesome. I didn't know I wanted to design a school in New Horizons until now. And the amount of like creative stuff I've seen already on like New Horizons islands and stuff, with the limited amount of creativity how hard it is to get items in New Horizons. And that was my one complaint. The reason why I kind of fell off of New Horizons was because it was so hard to get items to customize and build stuff. But with this, it just alleviates that issue. You could build anything you want. You have a catalog of almost everything. And making schools and like a restaurant too, like, it makes sense. And then you can see the villagers actually interact with it. And it's just awesome. You could, yeah. So then this all comes back to what do you want to call it? To your own island as well. And I assume once you go through like the main story, because there's probably going to be like some sort of story, you're able to grow your reputation in your own your own island, and then you're able to design your own villages' houses. And if you want to make like a city coherent, like a Japanese style city or something like that, you could do it now. And it's just awesome. And I love the creativity that they're adding to the game. And I feel like it's making New Horizons its own game. And it's just great. There's going to be a new network, and it's not going to be on the Nintendo Switch Online app. When they first said app, I was a little worried it was going to be Nintendo Switch Online app. But they're making a Happy Home network where people can upload photos and other stuff about like the houses they've designed for villagers or 2 villagers. And can I just add, roommates being villagers, why hasn't that been in the base game before? Like, is this something that's going to be in your own island? Because I think it should. Because you could add more villagers, it adds more relationship, and it adds more dialogue options. It just makes sense. I think it'd be really cool. But it looks like it's going to be similar to Pokemon Snap and how they had the photo sharing services. Probably better because Animal Crossing is the number 2 game on the Switch. Yeah. And then once, so they made it seem like once you finish the main story, which I feel like is finishing every little island and stuff, you can invite even more clients, and you do this with Amiibo Cards. They also announced Series 5 Amiibo Cards, some main ones being new Tom Nook, Raymond, and a lot of others, some of the new villagers too. You can invite like individuals like Isabel with the Isabel amiibo, Timmy and Tommy with the board game amiibo, and you could design houses for them, a little vacation home from away from home. And that's actually another thing with Brewster. You could have new convo options with villagers that aren't really able to, like Isabel. You can rarely even have a conversation with her because all she is doing is working. And every time you want to talk to her, it's all just like dialogue, like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. No, I just want to have a conversation with you, Isabel. And you're able to do that in Brewsters Cafe. And I assume with this client, inviting clients, which I think is awesome. I want to design a house for Isabel. Then you bring your techniques back to your main islands. So I'll read the descriptions. Techniques you obtain through your work on the Paradise Planning team can also be used on your home island. Perhaps this could be a great opportunity for you to overhaul the design of your own home as well as others. As if your gift. So another way to invite your residents into this area, if you want to design a house for them, you give them this souvenir chocolates that you get from the Paradise Planning team, and you give it to them. You're like, oh, let's check it out. You go there and you make a house for them. It's great. I love it. It's a good logical step. I mean, it's Happy Home Designer, but in Animal Crossing New Horizons. I don't know about the price tag though. $25. It depends how much content. The content they showed was a lot. And they showed a lot of a lot of people are saying it's basically a new game, and I kind of agree with that. It almost seems like it could be a game in and of itself. So I think the $25 price tag isn't that bad. The one price tag I was super shocked about though was the Nintendo Switch Online expansion is $50. That is $30 more than the yearly base Nintendo Switch Online. But you do get this expansion for free if you pay for a Nintendo Switch Online Plus. I'm gonna just be calling it NSO Plus. So this is bundled with the Happy Home Paradise expansion is bundled with this, and I hope they do this with other games as well. Just having DLC in this, because $50 is a lot. I'm gonna be paying for it, but I mentioned in the podcast, again, if you want to check those out, I'd only pay it was like $15 more. But this is like, it's more than double what the NSO is now, and I don't know if I like that. But then again, you look at other gaming franchises or gaming, it's hard to explain, gaming companies like Xbox and Sony, and but they're like $50-$60. So I feel like $50 for NSO Plus isn't that bad. You also get, you know, Nintendo Switch or Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis. Nintendo 64 games I feel like are only best played with the Nintendo 64 controller, but we will have to see. The pre-orders went up for $50. It's $50 a piece as well. Yeah, Nintendo's just gonna be draining my money. But overall, I think this direct was great. A very solid direct, had a lot of shock value, had a lot of surprise value. And I'm just here loving Animal Crossing. I'm definitely gonna get back into it. Definitely clean up my town because it's probably a mess. And yeah, hopefully by the time I finish cleaning up my town and stuff, I'll be ready for this update. So yeah, if you guys want to, I'm probably gonna be streaming Animal Crossing soon. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little bell to get notified whenever I do stream and upload more Animal Crossing content. Like the video if you haven't already, and comment down below what you think of what you thought of the direct. Was it bad? Was it good? Do you like that the game, the DLC, paid DLC is $25 a month? Also, before I sign out, this isn't the only paid DLC. We're getting at least one more, and I'm pretty sure it's Tortimer's Island. I'm just remember that, and when it happens, we'll come back to this video and just say like, oh, he was right. But anyways, Thank you so much for watching. I'm Crafty Type 1, and I will see you guys on the next video. Goodbye.